Welcome back to Cruising Sanctuary, Final Fantasy XIV, Endwalker, and Pandæmonium. Cruising X here along with Arya Stormborn.
Somewhere over the rainbow. Yeah, I know that was off key.
Lord Fireaxe.
I'm in darkness.
And Corlash.
Yo.
Last episode, we took on the first circle and met Erichthonios. I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that wrong, but...
I'm confident you are.
What?
I'm confident you're butchering that name.
Yeah, well...
Go on.
Until some voice actor confirms me wrong, I'm going with that.
You're wrong.
I said voice actor. Anywhoozy, let's get right on to it with the next quest in the Pandæmonium storyline, Under the Surface.
I thought you were going to say Under the Sea.
No, I'm not. Anyway, cutscene time. Not a sound can be heard from within, which means neither creature nor water has made it this far. We should begin forming a plan to save them at once. Forgive me if I misunderstand, but do you mean to rescue the waters and creations both? Naturally. Although they may be dangerous, they're valuable research subjects. I wouldn't see our labor, our untold hours of study, go to waste. I dare say La Habrea would smile to hear you say such a thing. That is, if we had cause to report this incident to him.
They lost me at La Habrea smiling.
Smile? I'm not sure his face is capable of such warmth. Ah, so you have met him before. I was under the impression he rarely visited Pandæmonium. I have, yes. My mentor was the previous head of this facility. That is to say, La Habrea's predecessor in the position of Chief Key Ward. Her name was Athena, and she was a researcher with the words. 'Twas she who appointed me to this position, in fact. I see. I did not know there was a Chief Key Ward before La Habrea. Your motivation to save your research subjects is not entirely driven by duty to the words, then. You wish also to preserve the work of your mentor. You've the right of it. I'm lacking in ideas of how to go about that, however. I'm a mere warder and cannot wield internment magics. Aha, but of course I can hardly expect you to be versed in the magics we use here. If you recall, during our battle earlier, I bound you in ethereal shackles. Interment is a more refined and powerful magic based upon the same principles. While both are used to keep our subjects docile, only the key ward of each tier is permitted to use interment. Even if I were allowed, I lack the aptitude to use the spell to any notable effect. Fascinating. I have some knowledge of these forms of spellcraft, actually. La Habrea himself established their foundation, if I recall. While shackles are meant to bind an object in place for a short time, interment freezes the very space around it for as long as the caster wills. Indeed. While the illusory beings you summoned in our fight suggested as much, I see your knowledge of magic is vast. Perhaps you've already mastered the art of interment, and I've been lecturing you like a child all this time. I'm afraid my knowledge ends there. I have not the precise understanding of how the invocations interact with natural laws that would be needed to cast said spells with any consistency. While I consider myself well versed in various magics, I would be ill-advised to assume the duties of Key Ward without instruction. That being said, if I were to learn more of internment and its inner workings, perhaps... Leave the fighting to me, you two can figure out the rest. I dare say we can do just that. Erichthonios, you implied that what prevented you from performing internment was lack of magical capacity. What if I supplemented your power with my own? Would the spell succeed then? I cannot say for certain. I've never heard of such a thing being done. I believe it may be our best recourse. That is, of course, assuming you can perform the initial rites and incantations flawlessly. Even the smallest misstep, and we would have to start over. You needn't worry about that. I've seen the spells cast so many times that their motions have been burned into my memory. I won't disappoint. Very well. Let us work out the specifics afterwards. Once we do, we can test out our methods on one of the escaped creatures, though I suppose there is the matter of finding one. It would be foolish to rush in blindly, lest we find ourselves surrounded with naught but an untested stratagem at our disposal. Nay, I would prefer to engage a single creature that Chris could dispatch on his own if the spell were to go awry. I agree. And I may have an idea in that regard. I recall seeing the hippocampus wandering the waterways during my flight. Perhaps it's still there. Few of the subjects housed within Asphodelos are fond of water, and I believe we'll be able to engage the beast without fear of unwanted guests. Then that shall be our first target. Or perhaps subject is a better term. Before we commence with the internment magics, the creature should be weakened to a sufficient degree. I believe I can trust you with that task. You know how it is. As dependable as ever. Once you have given it a thorough trouncing, we shall bind this hippocampus with the Key Ward's magic. Until then, my illusion shall fight by your side. The hippocampus will be alone, but it's a daunting opponent nonetheless. Its magic warps the environment around it, and it will be at home amidst the waterways. Steel yourself for a fight. Open the gate, let me trounce this thing and be done with it. Asphodelos, the second circle, now accessible. And we shall do this in the next episode, because I'm certainly not stalling. Anyways, we'll see you in the next episode. If you're watching on Twitch, stay tuned. If you're watching on YouTube, here's the link.